So you want to upgrade your guitar wiring. You've seen a cheap set like this on Temu and you think, that looks fantastic, I'm going to put it in my guitar. But will it make any difference? Today we're going to see if this cheap £15 Temu wiring harness can make any difference to my old Westfield Les Paul. Now the Westfield Les Paul has tiny little pots in it. They look all worn out, the wiring's pretty ugly. Versus the Temu wiring upgrade, which looks all fancy. It actually looks and feels like a quality kit, if I'm honest. But all the values are exactly the same, which means in theory there should be no difference in sound because the circuitry is all exactly the same values, all the same resistance, everything like that. However, there is a lot to be said with replacing old tired pots with brand new ones, because over the years they can get scratchy and start making noises and things like that there. So although I'm not convinced that this will make any kind of difference to the tone, but we'll see. At least what it will do is give the guitar completely fresh parts that I know is going to last a lot longer. We're going to do a sound demo in a moment, and what you'll hear is there's quite a lot of grinding buzz on this guitar, so I'm hoping that replacing all the parts will get rid of that as well. This is not one of these stupid Temu sponsored videos or affiliate things. I'll leave a link in the description below, but I don't get anything from it. Do what you will with that. The only problem I can foresee already is the switch cables aren't long enough to make it all the way up to where the switch is located on the Les Paul. So we'll need to splice in and extend those. Not a big deal. Yeah, it's made in China. Yeah, it's cheap, but that's the point of this whole thing. Am I going to put this in a Gibson Les Paul? No, absolutely not. First things first, let's do a really quick and basic sound demo with this guitar that we can then replicate once we've done the upgrade. And don't worry, I'll overlay them, put them together towards the end so we can see them side by side as well.
I see
two butterflies?
Yeah.
You should see if you can catch them.
They're moth butterflies.
Okay, as you can see, it's still a mess of wires here, but don't worry. Yeah, I know, a mess of wires. I'm going to want to remove the pickup cables, the ground cable, and I will just cut the switch that I have here. And then we can take this all out and we'll do a side-by-side comparison. That is the wire we took out for the switch. So we will need to extend our new one. Here is our side-by-side. This is the old, this is the new. So the values are exactly the same, so will this really make any difference? Alright, so a couple of adjustments. We've completely disconnected the switch. That's because we'll have to do that anyway in order to feed these wires through the body. We couldn't feed the switch through. And all I did with them was snip the wire here and joined it in the middle with a little bit of solder to get these extended wires. And again, the only reason we did that is because we wouldn't have long enough wires to get through to the switch on a Les Paul type guitar. Final change I've done is I've used our original jack cable. That's just because it's long and thin, and with all these cables going through the body, I think we're going to struggle for room in there. So using the original one, which has both the live and ground on it there, it's just going to make my life a little bit easier, and it's not going to make any real difference. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fit the pots into the body, just screw them on in, just to make sure I have enough room, because obviously it was small pots before, we've now got these big ones. We might have to make a little adjustment, which I didn't really account for. As I thought, it's going to be a little bit tight. The immediate problem is the holes are not big enough. The thread on these old pots is much thinner than the thread on these new pots. But also then, with all the cables having been soldered on the side of the pot, we're kind of losing a bit of room here. The bottom two pots fit, but the top two don't. The way the cavity's routed, it just gets in the way. And obviously it's designed for those small pots. We're now putting bigger pots in, size-wise. It's not ideal. It's not what I wanted. I expected this to be just throw them in, quick, easy change, play a bit and see if there's a difference. But at the same time, it's kind of good this has happened, because it shows you, especially if you are a beginner, that you can buy these pre-wired kits, do all that there, and sometimes they just don't go to plan. These modifications, they don't go to plan, but it's not the end of the world. We can do things. Let this be a reminder to double check sizes and everything before you just go ahead and order things the way I do. Now, we're very marginally off with the space in here, so what we can do is just get a hammer and chisel and chip away at the body with a hammer and chisel. If you want to do a really tidy job, just lay a bit of MDF out as a template and run your router around it. Or there's enough room there where the cavity plate sits in that you could get away with just freehanding it if you're handy enough with a router. That's it chiseled off now. It's not the cleanest in the world. What we can do now is sand this back, and if we were to copper shield this cavity, you'll never even notice it was there, other than it's slightly odd shape now. All right, for the second one, I'm going to show you a better way, in my opinion, of doing it, and definitely a much tidier way. It's just, you need a Dremel for it, and I know not everyone has a Dremel, so we're going to crack out the Dremel, and we're going to just basically sand away or grind away the inside of it using that. Much easier and much tidier. Dremel. Now I have the little extended attachment. If you don't, it's no big deal. I'm going to start with this sanding tube disc thing. Anyway, I'm going to start with this sanding thing, and if we're not making any inroads with that, I'll swap over to like a grinding wheel. But let's try this first. And well, as you can see, that was much quicker, much easier, and much tidier. So if you have a Dremel, use that. If not, hammer and chisel will do the job. Turns out the ground wire wasn't attached at all, so that might be the root cause of most of that buzzing we heard in the initial demo, but I have taken this stud out, I've replaced it in, it's not coming out now. As you can see, I've also routed the wires to the switch, which will fit shortly. Anyway, pot's fitted, wired to the switch, time to just throw the pickups back in, push the wires through, we'll solder them in a moment and get the switch sorted. The switch is already wired to the pots. We'll sort that after, but what we need to do in here now to finish it off is solder in our pickups and the little ground wire. Usually on a Les Paul, the top volume pot, the first one you'll come to, is the neck pickup, and the bottom one is the bridge pickup. I'm going to flip it because I want the top one, the one that's closest to me, to be the bridge pickup, because I use the bridge most often, which means then the top tone will also be the bridge. Could be confusing if I ever sell the guitar, but I can always change it. All we have to do is this lug here, the very end one that's free, we solder our live to that, which in this case we're using white, and then the black tied with the shielded part is going to go just on the top of this pickup as the ground. We do the exact same for the neck with the pot down here that you can see. So as always, little Blackstar Fly 3, fantastic little practice amps, portable things, brilliant for testing guitars. Volume tones all up. We've got it set to bridge. Both. Neck. Let's do the tone. Bridge. Volume. Neck. Excellent. Thank God there's no way I could be bothered diagnosing and rewiring that. This was supposed to be really quick. I'm going to go listen to some music while I screw all this back together, and I'll see you at the sound demo, which can wait until tomorrow, because it's getting late. Different day, same clothes, same guitar, different wiring. Let's find out if it was worth it, or if there's any difference in sound. I haven't played this yet, so this is me hearing it for the first time as well. So everything's exactly the same. The amp settings are all exactly the same. Volume, everything. So there's no difference apart from the wiring, as far as I can control anyway, in this little workshop. Instead of using a digital audio interface, I have mic'd up the speaker for the amp, so that's what you're hearing. I've measured the distance and set the mic up exactly the same as it was yesterday, so there's no difference there either. It's really hard for me to say if there's any difference there at all. I don't think there is, or if there is, I think it's probably very marginal. Even if it makes no difference to how the guitar sounds, it's probably a worthwhile upgrade in something like this, because those pots were so old and tired and there was a lot of buzzing and stuff. I didn't really focus too much on the distorted part of this sound demo because I'm not sure how much of a difference that would have made anyway. I'll let you guys be the judge and let me know what you think. Was there any difference at all? Was it worth doing? Let me know. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Possibly the most important part of this upgrade, if it is one. I get my poker chip back. Now the reason I removed it in the first place was the new switch that I put on this, the gold one that I had just lying spare. If you saw that video, wasn't long enough thread to get the washer, the poker chip and the nut onto the switch, but this one is. And I'm happy. I'm happy to get that back. You know, I never thought I liked the poker chip, but someone agreed with me. Someone agreed with me. Confirm my bias, please.